and a voice issuing from no perceptible source demands of him, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Saul asks the voice to identify itself. I am Jesus, the Nazarene. The voice replies, and you are persecuting me. The voice further instructs him to proceed to Damascus, where he will learn what he must subsequently do. When this visitation passes and Saul regains a semblance of his former consciousness, he finds he has been stricken temporarily blind. In Damascus, his sight will be restored by a member of the early church, and he will allow himself to be baptized. A modern psychologist would find nothing particularly unusual in Saul's adventure. It may indeed have been produced by sunstroke or an epileptic seizure. It could equally well be ascribed to hallucination, hysterical or psychotic reaction, or perhaps nothing more than the guilty conscience of a susceptible man with blood on his hands. Saul, however, interprets it as a true manifestation of Jesus, whom he never knew personally, and from this his conversion ensues. He abandons his former name in favor of Paul, and he will subsequently be as fervent in promulgating the teachings of the early church as he has hitherto been in extirpating them. He joins their community, becomes one of their apprentices or disciples, according to his letter to the Galatians. He remains under their tutelage for 3 years, spending much of that time in Damascus. According to the Dead Sea Scrolls, the probation and training period for a newcomer to the Qumran community was also 3 years. After his 3-year apprenticeship, Paul returns to Jerusalem to join the leaders of the community there. Not surprisingly, most of them are suspicious of him, not being wholly convinced by his conversion. In Galatians, he speaks of seeing only James and Cephas. Everyone else, including the apostles, seems to have avoided him. He is obliged repeatedly to prove himself, and only then does he find some allies and begin to preach. Arguments ensue, however, and according to Acts 9:29, certain members of the Jerusalem community threatened him as a means of diffusing a potentially ugly situation. His allies pack him off to Tarsus, the town now in Turkey where he was born. He is, in effect, being sent home to spread the message there. It is important to understand that this was tantamount to exile. The community in Jerusalem, like that in Qumran, was preoccupied almost entirely with events in Palestine. The wider world, such as Rome, was relevant only to the extent that it impinged or encroached on their more localized reality. To send Paul off to Tarsus, therefore, might be compared to a provisional IRA godfather sending a new ill